is up, you guys? So I'm going to show you guys how to make everything you just kind of heard from that intro. So it's kind of like it's reminiscent of like a DEADMAU5 song. So two of these patches that I use in this intro layers into this intro thingy, you can find those patches in my bank, so you don't actually have to recreate those with me. So I'm only going to show you guys how to make one patch in this video, because the other two, most of you, I'm pretty sure, have already downloaded my bank. But there's like an updated one now. So beneath the KState initialized bank on my Facebook page in the download section, if you'll see the KState initial bank. There's one underneath it that says updated 20 more presets. That's the one you want to get. That one has 20 more presets in the bank. So I'll show you kind of what I did here. The mix for these layers is a little rough because I'm making a song over here, and this is just kind of the stuff I made for the tutorial really quick. So the mix is really supposed to be for this part. So these three layers they're not mixed into each other or for each other. So that's why it sounds like that. So I'll show you what's on the group here, because I like to group my my different parts of tracks together. So in this group, it's just these silent patches here. So there used to be a wow filter there. Don't have to worry about it. Of course, I'm high passing, so I'm just getting rid of the low frequencies so it doesn't conflict with the bass and the kick. And I'm just doing a little bit basic side chaining with the kick as well. So I mean, these are just kind of things I do for mixing reasons and for technical reasons, not really part of the sound design itself. So let's do the first layer really quick. So if you, like I said, go to my Facebook and you want to download my bank for Silent, the updated one, this first patch right here is number 9 in that bank. So this is it right here. I don't think I changed anything but the delay. So I changed all 3 delays on these 3 patches so that they match each other. So the delay for all 3 of these match each other. And the reason why I do that is because when you have a lot of delays that aren't in the same timing as each other, it starts to get really messy. So kind of my little tip to you guys, this is kind of something that most people don't notice until it starts to sound bad. But you want to make sure your left and right side delays match, across your track. Unless you're, setting different delays for different types of things, like, drum delays or snare delays, clap delays. Those kind of delays could be different from, like your silent delays. But, if you want to keep typically the same kind of stuff in the same timing. So for these 3 layers, I wanted to have those 3 delays in the same timing. So everything like around here could be different, like the low cut and this bottom row of parameters could be all different, but the only thing that has to be the same for me when I'm trying to keep it clean is the left and right side. So the left side is 1/4 triplet, and the right side is 1/8. So that's the only thing I changed in this patch, I believe. So it sounds like this is what the first layer sounds like. So I made this patch kind of like I guess I was listening to some Armin van Buuren at the time, and I created this patch, and kind of has this like DEADMAU5 quality to it. So the second patch is the other one that's in that bank that we don't have to recreate in this video. You could just go download it. And this one is number 29 in my bank. It's called Supersaws. So this isn't like a lead type of supersaw. It's kind of like a supersaw I created just for layering in with other, stuff from this bank. So this is what that one sounds like. And let me just see if I change the distortion or if it matches what you guys have. So it's decimate amount is 1/43 or 0.43. And dry was at 21%. And again, the delay is the only thing I really changed. So the delay, the left side is now 1/4T, and the right side is 1/8. And I advise you should throw a little bit of low cut on these delays. That just kind of keeps the low end of these patches kind of it just cuts the low frequencies that aren't really needed, especially in delays. So if you're also, creating auxes and buses or returns with delays and reverbs, throw a little EQ on there and cut out some of those low frequencies, because you definitely don't need it on your main dry version of a patch, and you definitely don't need low frequencies to build up on your reverbs and such, because that could sound bad. So, low cut as much as you can, or high pass as much as you can. Pretty much do it everywhere that isn't a kick or bass. That's just like the easiest way to have a tight low end to any mix, doesn't matter what genre. So anyway, again, this patch you can find in my bank, so I probably didn't change anything else but the delays. And this last one, this is the only one that I made here, or I tweaked one of the presets from the bank, but I kind of changed it so much that it became its own different patch. So it's the only one that's not on my Facebook right now. It's because from time to time, once I've added like more patches into my bank, that's when I update it on my Facebook. So I recently did an update, and this one isn't in it, so it's number 99 in my bank. So you won't have this one. You will soon when I update my bank, but that's after I've created more and more patches. Let's see. So it was originally number 45, so that was Vinyl Lead. That's the one I tweaked, but there's no point in even clicking on it because there's so much different stuff in Vinyl Lead 2. So I don't even know why I called it Vinyl Lead. It doesn't sound anything like a vinyl lead, whatever the fuck that would be. So let's just start let's just start with an initialized preset. So initiate your preset. That means it's a blank default silent patch that, you can just start creating new stuff in. So after you initialize your preset, you can leave the polyphony at 3. That's fine. So oscillator 1, let's just get started. We're going to bring this down 2 octaves. We're going to set the voice to 3, and we're going to set this on a square wave. So in other synthesizers, this is called a square wave, like this kind of square wave. But in Silent, it's called a pulse wave. So I'm going to call it square. That means pulse wave, and I'm going to call it pulse wave, and that means square. So, just stick with me on that. And let's see. So I didn't touch any of these 5 parameters up here. So volume, phase, detune, stereo, and pan. Didn't touch them. And same with the fine tuning. I didn't fine tune it. So that's just like a little bit of detune in its own. And let's do the amp envelope just to kind of go across like this. So the attack is where it is by default at 0.05. Decay is all the way down. Sustain is all the way up. And release is at 1.36. Now for oscillator 2 in part A, we're going to bring this down 2 octaves as well. It's going to be another square pulse wave. 3 voices retrig on. And some of you more advanced users will probably know that these two are exactly the same, so you could have just copied this oscillator and pasted it over here, but I guess I forgot to mention that as well. So with Silent, the thing that's really cool is you can copy and paste similar sections. So you can copy the filter A into part B and blah blah blah. So you can copy most things. The only thing is you can't copy into like different tracks. So I can't copy this oscillator and then bring it up to this Silent patch and paste it there. That's not how it works. But you can, copy an oscillator and then paste it into any other of the oscillators in this bank. So that's kind of how Silent works a little bit. And let's see. So I kind of just lost track of what I was saying. So let's go back to the filter. Oh, okay. So filter A. So filter A, we're going to set the cutoff to 14.28 hertz. The reso is at 1.05. And drive is at 0.95. And we're going to set this high pass to the 24 dB slope. So we're going to select a high pass so we can cut some of those low frequencies out. And we're going to set 24 dB slope to really just cut them out faster. 12 dB slope is typically more musical. So, if you want it to not be so harsh, you can set it to 12 dB slope. But I prefer the 24 dB slope in this case. And let's do our main filter section. So this controls the filter section to part A and part B. So our main cutoff is at 17. is at like at 1700K around there. Our reso is all the way down. Key track is at 5, and we have warm drive on. And let's see, so that's everything for part A. Let's do part B, and then we'll do the metal effects right here. So part B, we're going to set the wave again to square wave, or pulse wave as it's called in science. We're going to set that to 2 voices, retriggers on, and no detune, nothing like that. The octave is at 0, so it's not down 2 octaves like the other ones. Like I said earlier, if you want, you can copy the amp envelope section, your main envelope for this oscillator from part A. You can just paste it over here in B. So, click on the C, bring it over to B, and just paste it in. The only thing that's different is the release. So the release is set to 1.65. So it's just like a slightly longer release. And for the last oscillator here, in part B, that we're going to bring this up to 3 voices, another square pulse wave, and we're just going to make sure the retrig is on, and that's pretty much it. So now let's do this EQ right here. Oh, I'm skipping ahead. So filter B section, we're going to select a low pass, 24 dB, drive and reso are all the way down, and our main cutoff is the cutoff for part B is 24 hertz. So this is not like the part A filter section where that's a high pass. In part B we have a low pass, so just make sure you get that down. And let's see, okay, so our EQ now, the bass gain is at 8.5 dB, the bass frequency is at 375 hertz, treble gain is at 10 dB around there, and treble frequency is at 440 hertz. Now for our delays, so like I said, our delays are going to pretty much match our other ones. So the left side is going to be 1/4T, right side is going to be 1/8. I threw on a low cut. I usually like to throw the low cut for delays at 250 hertz around there. We're going to make sure ping pong is on, and the dry wet is at 20%. So that's the amount of delay included into this patch. And let's see. Feedback and width are both at 50%, smear is all the way down, and spread is at 56%. Now let's move on to the reverb. So the reverb, it looks like it's just the default reverb. So pre-delay 100 milliseconds, damp all the way at 0 with 100%, size is at 7.5, and the dry wet is at 50%. So what you should have once you're done with this is something like this. And I'll show you now the MIDI notes, just so you can make sure you're playing exactly what I'm playing if you want to copy this as well. So right here, this is kind of like the pattern that I came up with that kind of gives it that DEADMAU5 vibe. More than anything else, it's really the MIDI notes I'm using and the way I play it that gives it that reminiscent sound. So other than delays, it's really how I'm playing it. So all 3 layers have the same exact MIDI notes. So I just copied. What I do with layers like this that I have in the same group is usually I'll create it up here on the first layer, and then I'll copy and paste it down to the other layers. And sometimes I'll change the octave for different layers and maybe even the notes and such. So, but in this case, they're all the same. So you can see that I'm kind of around the G2, like the G2 octave around there. So everything from G2 to G3, that's kind of the octave I'm staying in. I go a little bit lower in some cases. So I'm really just, all this stuff here, if you don't know, this is from my other video about, creating scales and stuff. So that pretty much shows you how to create this little section right here that you can fold down, and it shows you all the notes in the scale that you chose. And it just keeps everything you play in the same scale, so it keeps it very musical. And you can see that I'm kind of playing like 1/16 notes, something like 16th notes, I mean. And I kind of leave some rest in between, and just kind of has this nice breathing quality where it just kind of flows. So actually, I think I did this in triplet. or 1/8 triplet. So let me see. So I'm trying to find the grid that matches what I played here. Yeah, I did this in a triplet, I believe. Oh, whoopsie. Okay, so no, I did do this in 16th notes. If you're wondering, all those key commands I just did, I guess I'll go over that right now. If you press Command 3 on a Mac, you can change your grid, so you can see what your grid is here. You can change it to triplets. So I think on PC that would be Control 3. It's Command 3 on Mac. So I'm going to press it right now, and you're going to see that this is going to turn from a regular 16th grid into a 16 triplet grid. So you can see that I'm just pressing that, and it's just changing it. And triplets are really awesome just to get some syncopated feels and different abstract rhythms and grooves. It's just really awesome. I use it all the fucking time. I just love it. I use it way more than I thought I would have when I first learned about it long time ago. And to make your grid bigger, you just press Command 2 or Control 2, I guess, if you're on PC. So, oh, that actually makes it, yeah, that makes it bigger. So I went from 1/16 to 1/8 and then 1/4. So, you get bigger grids. And it works up here on your main grid as well. So you can see that you have this little, it tells you what grid you're in right here. So usually I keep it kind of small. So again, this kind of only lets you go to a certain amount depending on your zoom. So if I zoom in more, I can go even smaller and such. So anyway, let's go back to this. So yeah, Command 1 and 2 kind of do the same thing. So Command 1 just gives you a Command 2 gives you a bigger grid. Command 1 is a smaller grid. So it's pretty much the quick way that I zoom in. I don't have to zoom in and out so much to get the right grid size I want. I just zoom in as much as I want to feel comfortable with. So if I just want to work in one bar, I'll set my grid to 16th notes, and then I'll just kind of play around the triplets, and that's how I create things really quickly. So let's see. So I showed you my MIDI notes. I showed you the grid stuff. So if you wanted to copy all this, you have all the information needed to do it. And play around with velocity more often, you guys. So if you select MIDI notes and you hold down Command, I guess if you're on PC that would be Control. You just hold that down while selecting, while in a selection, and you can change the velocity. So the velocity, I brought this last note velocity down a bit, so just kind of gives it a nice, a softer trigger. So that's pretty much it, you guys. Hopefully this video wasn't too long. I try to keep them short, but sometimes I have to cram a lot of information in them. So hope you guys like this, and like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. So thanks guys for watching.